What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of The Take On with the residents, myself, Anton, Ferdinand, and Danny Murphy. This is where we get together as well and we bring you a top 5 list every single week. Last week was top 5 Premier League strikers of all time, which we took a little bit of stick for, actually. I don't know if you guys saw the comments. They were saying, how could you forget Van Nistelrooy? Andy Cole's getting no respect.
He got respect.
I think we did put
we gave respect to some of them.
We did, but there were some still questionable takes. Obviously, Anton with his Dan Burn situation, it was a bit off.
That was the team. What was that? Team of the season.
Yeah. The team of the season as well. That was a separate one. So it happens. It happens. Also, I've been seeing some of the other Vibe residents. Stephen Howson is sort of saying, "Flex, you need to step up. Danny's having crazy takes. You need to stop him." I'm going to be honest. I think you've been all right. I don't know whether I think it's the Scholes Gerrard thing.
Yeah, and I always get this thing about this hatred for Man U. It was, there was one there growing up. It's eased off. There's a respect for Man U, and I actually did a piece recently about this City team and United's treble-winning team.
Yeah,
and United came out on top, which nobody gave me any credit for because apparently
hope you didn't like Jamie Carragher's team.
Do you know what? I didn't
was
see
ridiculous.
that.
But, hold on a minute. That was just straight, just to have an argument with people. That was.
Go on.
He put Grealish ahead of Ryan Giggs.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
Your face says it all.
Wasn't that to do with? I did read this. Now you've said it. Wasn't that to do with how he did in that one season because he only got 3 or 4 goals?
Yeah, but come on,
you still couldn't do it.
You just can't. You just can't. But yeah, I don't think you've been that bad. To be fair, with the Man United hatred.
There's room to improve.
But today's top 5, we're going to get into it again, and this is where you guys are going to get involved. Let us know. They're not afraid to let us know as well. I was reading them comments. They don't play.
I like that. I like that.
Exactly.
Keep them
Anyone
coming.
can get it.
Keep them coming.
100%. Top 5 Premier League midfielders of all time. Ooh. Now, Anton winces and says this is really difficult. Before we started recording, he's struggling. He's saying, I'll tell you what, it's not as easy as it looks. Me and you went... Probably is. Well, is it?
We discussed this with the forwards last week, didn't we? There's a big difference between the best 5 players in a position over a period of years or your own personal experiences because you can come up against someone sometimes who just really destroys you and makes you feel inadequate. But he might not be in the top 5. So sometimes when you've played, people watching, they probably think, wait, why have you even mentioned him? But when you've had the run around with someone, you give them more respect.
It's like Anton, he didn't rate Drogba because he said, when I played against Drogba, mate, he didn't do nothing.
Hold on, a few comments I saw.
He didn't do anything to me. What's the fuss about Drogs?
A few comments I saw. It's just
experience.
It's the experience, isn't it?
It's that personal, when
personal
you played against them, what happened?
I'm not saying that he didn't do something to me that made me go, but some wowed me more than others. Yeah. That's all it is. That's all it is, guys. That's all it is.
All right. So these are the names, and what we've got here is who's won the most leagues as well next week with goals and assists as well. Okay, Paul Scholes, 11 Premier Leagues, 107 goals, 55 assists. Steven Gerrard, 0 Premier Leagues, 120 goals.
You said that with some oomph, boy.
Just zero Premier Leagues. I'm just reading the stats, mate. Has he got a Premier League? Yes or no?
No.
How many is that? Is that 0?
Yeah.
So the stats are right, 0. But unbelievable. Frank Lampard, 177 goals, 102 assists, 3
These
Premier
are just
Leagues.
Premier League numbers, aren't
This is for best Premier League midfielders of all time.
Okie doke.
Yeah.
But
Roy
it doesn't
Keane.
matter what they've done in Europe, doesn't it? It does matter. But,
Let's talk about the criteria, Danny. Let's do this. Let's decide. Does it? How much does it?
I think for me, the career, what you do,
longevity.
Longevity, other trophies,
attributes.
Well, if
you're good at many things versus good at one.
If we're saying Premier League midfielders,
it has to be.
It has to be Premier League based on the fact that someone might have been okay and had a decent Premier League career, but in Champions League they were frightening.
But what about the ability to be able to go where you said it can impact it? These guys fought on multiple fronts in all these competitions. So to go away on a Wednesday night and play Real Madrid away, then come back and then you got to play Liverpool, Arsenal, whoever.
Well, let's see if we agree or disagree.
Yeah, all right.
Let's roll and see where we get to.
Well, let's touch some names. Anton, give me your non-negotiable.
Paul Scholes is my non-negotiable.
Correct.
Paul Scholes is my non-negotiable.
Danny, is that a non-negotiable?
Steven Gerrard is my non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Frank Lampard is my non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can live with that.
Okay. All right.
I think Scholes' football intelligence could make you couldn't really read him from 1 week. Sometimes he had good few years playing behind Van Nistelrooy as a 10 when Veron was there a couple of years. That was it. That was difficult playing against Scholes when he was playing in that role. Then he spent years dictating play and tempo from a deeper position where he could run. If you sat off him, he'd kill you with his passing. If you got tight to him, he'd play round you, see the pictures. Football genius, really. It wasn't the most athletic, wasn't the best defensively, if you like, but just a wonderful footballer. Lamp's doing what he did. The numbers are a joke. His consistency, durability, never missed games. And he could defend, Frank. Normally you get a number 10 or an 8 who flies forward, who's a bit of a luxury. He's a big powerhouse, and he would do his defend. He'd rattle you. Stevie, I agree. I think what he's done, every aspect of his game we've talked about before. Do you know what? Those three, yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm not. You see that Scholesy. I speak about Scholes. He's the one out of the three that I felt could hurt me from anywhere on the pitch. As a defender, if he had the ball and he had time, but sometimes, when as a defender, you tell your midfielders, press him at all times.
No matter what.
Because if he's got time, he can hurt me. And I don't want that.
The problem...
But what he would do was, he'd create time for himself because, like you said, he'll pop round the corner, get it the other side, now all of a sudden the game's open, he's got time. And for me, that's panic station as a defender. You better start running towards your own goal.
Worse than a Stevie G powerhouse who could take the ball on a half turn, drive at you, hit from long distance.
But it's different. Different type. So I'm saying Scholesy, I felt like Scholesy could hurt me at any given time, anywhere on the pitch. Stevie, if he's running onto a ball, it's panic stations. It is. It's panic stations.
I think Stevie, to be honest, doesn't really get the recognition for his passing.
His passing was tops.
The outside of the right one, the drill, the sliders. I mean, he fed Torres for a good couple of years, and his ability to open up a defence. But just a quick one on Scholesy, because I had the run around from Scholesy loads of times, and the problem you've got with him is that when you get tight, he pops it round, but he's not popping it round to anybody. He's popping it in the holes to Rooney and Tevez.
Yeah.
You're in a world of trouble. So you think to yourself, if I go there, I've got a long one back.
Exactly.
But we played loads of times against different positions against United. And I used to get, he's a nice lad, really humble lad. One of the few United boys initially when I went to England who was really making an effort. But we played United for Fulham at the Cottage one day. And it was nearing the end for him a little bit. And myself, really. And he got passed out a ball from the back. It might even been from the keeper. I can't remember. You might remember the game. And when you just think, I've read it.
Yeah.
I've read it.
Anticipation on there.
I've got him. I nicked it off him and I've scored. And it's the only one I can remember my whole career where I took the ball off him and scored, right? And as we're walking back, I think Rooney and Owen played up top. We won 2 or 3-0. And he gave me a little...
Is Zoltan Gera scoring that game?
I think that was good. We beat you 2 years running.
Yeah, because I remember that one as well.
That year when I think Carrick played centre-half and Bobby beat him up. But Scholesy gave me a little nod as if to say... You
done me. Yeah.
You got one out of like 50 games.
You must have been...
But that's the respect I had for him because I thought, wow, I've just got... Even all those years I've been playing the Premier League, I just felt, he's giving me the acknowledgement.
Yeah.
I had to stop being a fan again for a minute. I was like, come on, get yourself together. Well done, mate.
So he had that kind of aura.
He did.
Okay.
He did.
So they're 3 non-negotiables, apparently. I'm going to get back to that.
Well, some people might disagree.
Exactly, let us know.
I doubt it.
Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes.
Yeah.
Apparently they're 3 non-negotiables. We're going to get back to it. Roy
This is where it gets techie.
Patrick Viera. Kevin De Bruyne. Cesc Fabregas. I've got one more non-negotiable.
No, hold on a minute.
I've got another non-negotiable.
No, hold on. There's one name you ain't mentioned. This is why it's hard for me.
Go on.
Yaya Toure.
Oh.
No,
he's there.
Declan. Yaya Toure.
Yaya Toure. You've got Fernandinho, you've got Carrick, you've got Essien, you've got Xavi Alonso, Makelele. The Makelele role. The whole role was named after him. Before we carry on, I've got another non-negotiable.
Go on.
Roy Keane.
I thought I was coming.
1,000,000%. Trillion%. Midfield general. And do you know what about it is with errors even? With recency bias and the way the game is now, midfield 3, there's protection, there's discipline, in the shape and stuff like that, where you can go, do you know what? All you have to do is you can focus on that area of your game. If you're an attacking midfielder, give me shots, whip crosses in, Do what De Bruyne does. License. If you're Rodri, keep my play ticking over. You're just the anchor man. You do that.
Yeah.
Back then, I think midfielders, and listen, you will be able to say it, in a 4-4-2 as well.
Both, yeah.
You got to do everything.
Yeah.
You need to be chief organizer. When we ain't got the ball, I need you at it, winning tackles, ugly tackles. Back in them days as well, it was harder. It was lots more 1v1s. I think even as a centre-back, you're playing against 2 strikers. You've got to go 1v1. In midfield, you're often going against your opposite number. That's it. When we've got the ball, I need you to give me captain's performances. I need you to drive with the ball. I need you to be good on the ball. I need you to score goals. Keane could do it all. And another one, he doesn't get praise for his passing as well and how good he was on the ball. Because Keane's got this, he's just a brute. He's a hard man.
Good.
He can play. He can play. That's my case on Roy Keane.
Keane was all of those things you said. Is probably the biggest strength of him was the years of consistency to stay at the top and to keep winning and driving others on.
7 Premier Leagues.
Mentality, man, is different. His mentality was different. But that's what I'm saying. We've got 2 spaces, and we're talking Roy Keane,
Patrick Viera.
Yaya Toure.
Yaya
He's in the conversation.
I'll tell you just a couple of other names quickly because we are talking more central midfielders.
Dembele. Moussa Dembele.
I don't think we can put
not
him
in this
yet.
category.
No, but
I'm just putting the name out there.
I spent my early years starting at Liverpool with United were unbelievable. And I'm not sure that Beckham gets enough credit,
100%, Danny.
Because he could have been a central midfielder. If he wasn't the best crosser of the ball in the
100%.
world. And do you know when I first realised it? When I went to England in the training. Oh my! I was thinking he's even better than I thought. Honestly,
what is it that he did like in training?
Well, he sees all the pictures which you need in the middle of the pitch, like Scholes and all those that he could do all that. It's technical. I mean, obviously, passing, free kicks, all that stuff, but just that intensity of his training as well. He wasn't, although he liked looking a bit different and being the way he was. On the training pitch, at it. Didn't give the ball away. Couldn't get near him. Could not get near him.
And that's as a right winger.
And we always used to finish the game. We always used to finish England training with the oldies play the youngies, but it'd go 2 touch then 1 touch. The best 1 touch player I've ever trained with, Beckham. 1 touch.
The best one touch player you've ever played with, David Beckham.
Statement that,
Scholes was there, Stevie was
there.
They were all good.
Yeah, of course, levels, but you're saying him didn't give away one touch.
He just had... I was like, whoa.
And I'm guessing you couldn't get near him.
Not in 1 touch, but...
Couldn't nick it off him then.
But anyway, we are keeping it central.
Yes.
I wanted to give Beckham, and even, obviously, that United midfield, arguably the best midfield ever of Keane, Scholes, Giggs and Beckham. Giggsy was special, but he's a winger, so that'll come another day.
Patrick Viera, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne.
I think the problem you've got here is that Vieira and Keane, both inspirational characters and leaders, they're not as attractive as someone like De Bruyne. Or
That annoys
Scholes.
me though. That does.
Well, depends what you like.
Yeah.
Everyone likes seeing different
criteria.
things. Yeah. I don't see a world where you can't have Kevin De Bruyne in there for what he's done already.
Here's one for you.
This is where I was saying it's hard.
Here's one for you, yeah? Shoot me down if you don't agree with this. I think the only debate where Kevin De Bruyne takes someone's spot, in my opinion, has to be Frank Lampard.
No.
Has to be Frank Lampard for me.
Because
I think the others. Let's look at the profile of player: attacking midfielder, goals. That's like, I know you said Frank doesn't get the credit. He's a unit. He can get about the pitch as well.
He's Chelsea's top goal scorer.
Yeah, I agree.
He's won how many leagues?
But okay, we'll put it this way then. I'm not having Kevin De Bruyne over Steven Gerrard, Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, even Patrick Viera. I'm not.
Well, you're not trying to. Don't forget, you're not trying to make a team here that's got balance. You're just picking.
Yeah, just picking out of just the best.
So for me, my love of watching football is creative midfielders and goals and people who pass the ball. Kevin De Bruyne is arguably the best passer we've seen. If not, he's in the conversation. If you can put, Cesc was amazing.
Cesc Fabregas.
But Cesc didn't have his all-round game that De Bruyne has got. I personally would probably have De Bruyne and Keane as my next 2.
So you wouldn't Vieira don't get in for you? Just misses out?
Only just.
I think Pat's got to be in there, man.
Not enough goals. Mate.
Yeah, but his
enough
goals. His influence on that team.
I know.
And watching him and Roy Keane battle it out was phenomenal.
But would you have? I mean, in a one-off game, Vieira could absolutely run a game and destroy you. I played against him centrally a couple of times. Normally on the right I was, but centrally I played twice, and it was hard work. Technically gifted, smasher.
Long legs.
But his ability, if you're looking at him and Keane, you could have him and Keane both in, no problem. Wonderful players. Let's not make any mistakes here. He is a special player. But if you look at the numbers and what they've won, it's Keane all day. And more goals.
Yeah. Yaya's got to get... I'll go back to Yaya's...
100%.
His impact. But did he have...
But also ability. Kevin De Bruyne couldn't do the things that Yaya Toure can do. Yaya Toure
you
came...
mean dribbling past people?
Yeah, 100%. And just how he was on the ball and how good he actually was.
Yaya I watched a reel the other day of Yaya. Big Yaya, yeah. It was an absolute joke.
He's a special player.
It was a joke. The way he was, like, we're talking about a big guy, gangly legged, manipulating the ball like a small guy, and driving past people, carrying people on his back while he's running with the ball. He was a joke, man. Remember his goal against Newcastle when near enough the length of the pitch and then pull it in, post it in.
Well, I'll tell you how good he... I mean, look, this fella played centre-back at Barca.
Exactly.
This is his football intelligence. He could play as a 10, could play as a 4. Power, pass, free kicks. I just think in terms of longevity, I mean, his impact at City, you could argue...
And his ability as well versus the others. Because arguably... his ability to do what he does,
but in moments,
flashes. You're saying
more so than some of the others.
Than the consistency.
David Silva.
I was just about to get to him. This is where it comes down to what do you like? Because David Silva, in my opinion, this is going to sound crazy. In my opinion, Kevin De Bruyne can't lace David Silva's boots.
Different type of player.
That's what I like watching. I like watching
different type of player.
You might lose your slot on this show.
I'm serious.
Did that
saying that's a poor take?
Yes, it did.
Just take a breath.
No, I don't need to.
No, serious. Calm down.
Are you saying that's a bad take?
That is a bad one.
That is officially. Wait, hold on a minute. Let us know. Was that a bad take from Flex, please?
David Silva better than De Bruyne. Come on.
I will say one thing though.
It depends what you like.
I will
Not just
say one thing.
Talent.
No, special talent.
I will say one thing.
God.
It was with Loftus Road playing for QPR, and I don't know who it was. Got to the bar line, and they cut it back, but they drilled it back with a cutback to David Silva. I tried to read it, so I almost when you try to read something and anticipate and you come out quicker than you normally would in the box. David Silva took a deft touch just the other side of me to go and shoot. And one of those where I've come out so quickly, if I touch him, penalty. So I tried to get out of the way. Tried to get out of the way, but the touch was so good.
Yeah.
Chris.
A deft touch, just the other side of me, where almost run past him and then he shot.
None of these conversations are putting anyone down. We're talking about some of the best players we've ever seen. I'll try and simplify this, I think. David Silva, what would you say his strengths are?
Possession of the ball, evading challenges, dribbling, IQ, can find a pass.
All right, so what do you want your creative players to do in a team? Scoring goals and assists?
Depends who. This is where it depends what I've got though. Depends
if
I've got Fernandinho next to him and then I've got someone
David
like
Silva and De Bruyne,
right?
Is De Bruyne better defensively? Yeah. Is he quicker? Yeah. Is he stronger? Yeah.
Is he?
Does he score more goals? Yes. Does he get more assists? Yes. So where's the advantage of having Silva ahead of De Bruyne?
Depends. It depends who you got in your team. Kevin De Bruyne is a beautiful footballer. Listen, I don't want to act like
productive.
I don't want to act like he's not that.
What type of take is this?
But the IQ of David Silva,
no doubt,
those players. I think the type of players who don't. We live in an era now where the numbers dictate most of the opinion, and I think the players. If we say this, that means that Xavi or Iniesta or Zidane aren't greats because people like De Bruyne score more than them. And if you're building a team, and I said to you, who do you want, Xavi, or do you want De Bruyne, or do you want Iniesta, or do you want De Bruyne, or do you want Zidane, or do you want De Bruyne? You're going to say to me, "Oh, well, Zidane." Oh, no. But then,
you're assuming people's answers.
Oh, well, there you go, though. But then, what I'm saying is that if you could say, can De Bruyne run faster than Xavi? Yes. Does he score more goals than Xavi? Yes.
I'd have De Bruyne.
You'd have De Bruyne over Xavi in your team.
Depends who you have next to him.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
This ain't that. That's my point.
But David Silva's in that mold. That's
He's a terrific player, but you can't put him. If you said, I need a midfielder to score and make goals for my team.
To score and make goals for the team, though. That's, again, talking
why
about...
David Silva then? Just because he looks
in my midfield, because I just said... Like, look what...
Why would you have F2?
So why would you have... So why would you have an Iniesta in your team, then?
Come
Why
on.
would you have an Iniesta in your team, then?
Why?
Yeah, why would you have Xavi in your team?
I understand what you mean. He makes goals in Iniesta, but you mean in terms of numbers?
Yeah,
you're talking numbers.
Because if it's a numbers game, then De Bruyne is going to win over many of us. He'll win over Keane.
Yeah,
he'll win over.
Look, these are the personal choices we're talking about. Give us your shout outs.
Yeah. What's our 5? Give me your 5.
I'm Lampard, Scholes, Gerrard, Keane, De Bruyne for me.
No Vieira. Give me your 5.
Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard, Keane, Viera. But
no, you said it.
Telling you, my chest is burning because Yaya. My chest is burning for Yaya.
Yeah, I hear you. I think
give him a shout out. He's special. Special.
De Bruyne is the one who's pushing to get in that for me. For me, I think it goes more towards Lampard though. If someone's going to drop out, because for me, Vieira's got to go in. Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard, Keane. It was Vieira because we went both Vieira, but you're saying Vieira for Kevin De Bruyne, though.
I get it, yeah.
Let us know if you agree with Danny, though. Should Kevin De Bruyne be in the top 5 Premier League midfielders of all time already? Hasn't got a Champions League yet.
Nor is Vieira.
Nor is Vieira, exactly. Multiple Premier Leagues, like what Vieira did. He's won more than Vieira, hasn't he? How many? Yeah, he's won 4. So we'll see.
You're nearly there. You're going to put him in a sec,
No. De Bruyne's all right. He's a good kid.
All right?
He's a talent.
Is that another bad take? All right.
No, I'm joking. He's world class. He is world class. I'm joking. But just quickly before we move on, out of these current midfielders, who has the potential to be in the conversation later on? Bruno Fernandes, Martin Odegaard, Bernardo Silva, Rodri, Ilkay Gundogan. Just a quick kind of...
Out of those?
Yeah.
Rodri.
Yeah.
The only one.
Well, because you were saying he was the best in his position last week.
This season.
I'll say Rodri. Fernandes don't get a mention for me. Just based on the fact I don't like the throwing hands business. That does my
King
head
used to
in.
throw hands all the time.
No, different.
On
different.
people.
Different.
Forget all that anyway.
There's nothing wrong with throwing hands.
It means United have got to start winning leagues.
Yeah, we got to compete at the top. But just on that, though, if you want goals and assists and goal contributions... Bruno's up there with De Bruyne's numbers. If we're going to do that, if we're going to do a numbers game,
defend like De Bruyne.
He runs around like a madman.
So that's defending.
He gets about. Yeah, he does defend like De Bruyne. Of course he does.
Let's watch the Anfield.
He defends like this.
Of course he does. Oh, one game, Danny. Come on. Let's watch the game at Old Trafford where Fred clamped him and then De Bruyne couldn't go anywhere.
You should watch back the semi-final against Brighton. Fernandes in the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Do you know what you should watch?
Do
you know what you should
He's injured.
watch?
That's why he came off.
Okay.
Do you remember when Anderson absolutely steamrolled Stevie G?
Who?
Anderson. Remember?
Who? Premier League winner.
At Old Trafford.
Anderson. Who? Premier League winner.
The lefty. Yeah.
So was Tom Cleverley as well.
Everyone has one good game.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Remember that at Old Trafford? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I do. I want to get onto this one. Smash a like on this video. Subscribe to 5 if you are watching now. Make sure you do that. The road to 1 million is on. I want to talk about a top, a front three or a group of attackers. Okay, Arsenal versus Liverpool over the next 5 years. Who would you rather have out of this young attacking list? Yeah. So Arsenal for the next 5 years. Let's say they all stay. Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, or Jesus?
4 of them.
Yeah? Or would you rather have Gakpo, Nunez, Jota, and Diaz?
I'm going Arsenal. I have to go Arsenal. I have to go Arsenal.
I'd probably like a mix of both now.
You can't have a mix of both, Danny. You got to choose one.
I'm going Arsenal.
Mr. Liverpool, would you rather have... Actually, yeah, Danny's a Liverpool fan. This is going to hurt. Would you rather have Arsenal's front 5, them players I just mentioned, versus your attacking players?
So we've got Gakpo, Nunez, Jota and
who's the other one?
Jesus.
Diaz. Luis Diaz.
It's tight, you know. I think if you're going to... I understand where Anton's coming from this season because of Saka and his potential to be...
Martinelli's
got great... But if you ask me now, even though this season Martinelli you'd have over Diaz, or when Diaz burst on the scene, I thought we were looking at a proper
and you probably still are, it's only because you got injured.
So that's a really tight one. Saka's a special boy, isn't he? He's
Saka's the best out of that bunch.
Yeah. And I actually think Nunez, and don't know what you think, Anton, because you've seen him as a centre half. I think he's got the potential to be a better goal scorer than Jesus. I don't mean in terms
Jesus
of...
don't score enough goals, 100%.
No, Jesus is a quality footballer with touch and his skill, but
Nunez gets more chances, gets more opportunities.
And he's only 22, so in the next few years...
Yeah.
Can we nick Saka to Liverpool?
No, because I know he's kind of like the Martin Odegaard, though. You know, Liverpool this season, actually, are going into next season in the transfer window, are going to need a creator and a dictator like him.
They don't, unless they change the way they play. Yeah, maybe.
They need a creative. They need someone who can do what Odegaard kind of
does. Because when they had Coutinho, whether he sold him because he had to or he wanted to, the fact is Klopp, when sold him, went, we're going to change. Because they used to play like 4 attack. He played sometimes off the left. But they went 4-3-3, 3 midfielders who are going to do the job, and then you got rely on 3 forwards. Now Liverpool have 5 to choose from before you even start mentioning the young lads. Salah thrown in there. I know he's older now, so he's not in this conversation.
Yeah.
Let me look at it. Let me tell you this way: if I was choosing a front 3 for the future, I'd go Diaz, Saka, and Nunez. I think Klopp's got to start giving him more of a run up the middle.
Up front, yeah. Anton? You said Arsenal kind of easy.
Yeah, I get it. It'd be hard for me to sit here in front of logical, intelligent football people and choose Liverpool's group after this season with what Arsenal have done.
Yeah, so but it's not. But to be fair, it's not really about this season. It's about because they're all young and it's the next 5 years. So you're looking at potential. You're looking at they got Klopp to navigate them through. They got Arteta to navigate them through.
I think the only unfair bit on this is that you've thrown Odegaard in. Liverpool don't really have a player like him to compare.
Yeah.
So you'd go for the Arsenal group only on the fact, more so on the fact you've got a balance of a 10 in there who's going to feed all those players who have all had great seasons. Liverpool, you're looking at 4 out-and-out attackers, aren't you? So, but as I go back to sitting on the fence a bit,
he still hasn't told us. He still. I don't know how they're going to clip this up for social.
Can we change it?
No, we can't change it. The question is the question: who would you rather have, Arsenal's youngsters for the next 5 years? Or yours. That's the only question.
He just put all yours.
Yeah.
Or Liverpool's.
I think if you said which those 4 players or those 4 players, I'd go Arsenal.
I tell you, that takes a lot of that.
I'm sorry. Only because they've Odegaard and Saka. But I would have, if you were asking me to choose a front 3 or 4 of those, Saka, Diaz. I'd rather have Diaz and Martinelli long term. I think he's got more potential. Yeah. And I'd Darwin Nunez up front. I think he'd get more goals than
Who's the best player in that whole crop?
Best player in that whole crop.
Odegaard.
Odegaard.
Good
shout.
Odegaard.
Good shout.
Anton, why Arsenal so easily?
It's not easy, is it?
Or
it's just based on obviously what I've seen this year. Like Martinelli live, so sharp, like he's a joke, and his movement's always to try and hurt you.
Yeah, he is,
at all times. There's no like.
But I think Diaz does. I think when Diaz is direct, didn't he?
Yeah, he is. But watching Martinelli, like I said, Diaz is really direct.
He's very direct, yeah.
But Martinelli's movement is always like to go and produce something. Like he's not interested in coming to get the ball. Diaz does that side of it, comes and gets the ball. But Martinelli, like I was thinking, right, if I was playing right side centre back, I'd have to be on my P's and Q's, man. You know,
you wouldn't want to
have to be on at all times.
What do you think about Gakpo? Because we didn't mention him there, and he showed glimpses.
He's a finisher.
Would you? Because I know he's been playing him down the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, he played wide a lot, didn't he?
I like what he did. What surprised me about him, and I had to hold some serious L's on that. I think before I thought we was getting him when I was in Qatar. I was saying to my Liverpool mates, AGT, I was like, listen, we're getting Gakpo. It's done. We're having him. Then obviously you lot stole him. Had to hold that to the point where I started hating on him. Said he's not that good, to be honest. I did. I done a preview before the 7-0. I was like, Nunez, wash, misses too many chances. Gakpo, not that good. You've done us a favour. And obviously then we went on to lose 7-0. But Gakpo, what he does really well, I like, actually, especially in this 10, he's, because of his physicality and his body shape, like he's got long arms, long legs, tall.
That's why I take him over Nunez.
I know what you mean.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean about Nunez.
We're talking about potential.
Yeah, but it's potential. This is over the next 5 years.
We're talking about. I know what you're saying about Nunez. He gets into opportunities.
Yeah.
And he likes running behind.
Yeah.
And Gakpo's got that in him as well.
Yeah. If you played him on the left,
if you played him there, because Gakpo's quick, strong, but he's more composed already as a finisher. Do you know what I mean? Nunez needs to go and work on it. Nunez, which
is a worry, really.
Like that natural. Like Gakpo before he strikes the ball, it's like he almost goes and strikes. Nunez is just erratic.
I just got a feeling about him.
Yeah, I look as a rival fan, especially a Man United fan. We always look to he spent loads of money on him. Look at him, he's got opponents. Let's not get it twisted. This season was supposed to be Haaland against Nunez.
I know, yeah.
That's what it was built up as. And in the
close.
What was it in the Charity Shield? That was at Leicester this year, wasn't it? In the Charity Shield, when Nunez scored, it was see,
But he's shown some really positive.
He's got some glimpses, and I think it's easy to laugh at him and clown because I'm a rival fan.
Yeah, he's hit the woodwork 5 times.
Wow. Yeah,
I know that's.
He just can't score.
He's hit the corner flag a few times.
I knew that. I was waiting what you were going to say.
Okay, so we got your answers. Just before we move on to the next topic, though, guys, I got actually this because it's one kind of subject we haven't spoke within that subject is the impact that the managers could have on those 5 players. So you know that Klopp's kind of been there and done it. You know that Arteta has made a case for Arsenal this season, but they've fallen short. Which of the managers would actually get more out of their players to say they've reached their potential? A young Mikel Arteta, who's still got it all to prove, or a Pep, who we're looking at, a Klopp, who we're looking at saying if he fixes his midfield and adds a defender or so,
I think
Liverpool are back.
I think in terms of Arteta, it's a massive, massive summer for him this year in terms of what you're talking about now. Getting the best out of his players again, lifting them up.
But in relation to those players, though, those young players, though.
Exactly. They've all played a massive part this year. They've all had their hand on the trophy, and it's been ripped away in the way that it has been done. Psychologically, this summer, it's going to be hard for them to come back from it. It's a big test of his 100%. Can he go and produce what he's produced this year as a manager in terms of uplifting and getting people up? From what you see on the show that they've done, his analogies and the way he does things, it tells you, yes, he can. But now you're dealing with a different type of player now, psychologically, where the hurt that they're going to have by not winning the trophy and being top for 94% of the season, that's going to be hard to come back from. So in terms of Arteta, this year you're going to see whether he's going to be a top manager or not this season.
You always say about the second
season.
I know that will be his 4th season, but in terms of challenging,
the advantage he's got, just quickly on that. I think we're talking about these groups.
With the groups,
Saka, for a young guy's really experienced and learned a lot over the last. He's been playing the Premier League quite a while.
He's not actually that inexperienced at this level, is he?
I think Jesus and Odegaard are somewhere near to what you're not gonna. I don't know how much more you're gonna get out of them in terms of what they're both playing pretty much the top of their game.
Yeah.
Martinelli could have got a bit more to come, of course, because he's
Jesus. You're not going to get anything different to that. He's always going to score.
Jesus, sorry.
Yeah.
So Liverpool, on the other hand, Klopp's got a bit more work to do because Nunez has only been here a year and he's been playing 2 years in Portugal. So he's in the infancy of his career and infancy of Premier League. Gakpo's only been here half a season.
Yeah.
He's got to get used
Coming
to
from
it.
the Dutch league as well. Yeah.
Diaz, okay, he's been here a bit longer, but he had the injury.
That's true,
so Klopp's actually got a bit more work to do with him.
Jota knows the league. He'll be fine.
Jota does, yeah. He's very capable.
Is he willing to do the work? Because every time he's been in this situation, he's ended up going, no, I'm not doing it.
Who?
Well, you say
Klopp,
that.
He's left.
You say that, right? So Bobby came in and then it took a while for Klopp to get him up to the level where that front three. Mane came in from Southampton. No one thought he was going to go in the team, play every week and do what he did. But that's because Klopp you could argue the front three gelled and it was a bit of luck. But there's some coaching involved. You know, to give them the freedom to stay high up the pitch. I know the Mane worked back now and again, but to play the way they did, that's something that's happened on the training ground. Now, people talk about Klopp's so-called lack of tactics. That was a tactical decision to play 3 people in midfield who could run all day because he knew that front three were going to cause the damage.
No, tactically, I think Klopp's fantastic. I say it all the time. People, when they've got the ball, people make certain movements because of the person who's on the ball. Yeah. You know, so tactically, I think he's fantastic. I'm just not sure if he's going to want to rebuild again like he has done. I know he started the process, but going from what he's done the last 5 years this season, and he might end up in the Champions League again, taking your place.
Why don't you say he's going to take Newcastle's place? Have you seen them? You just want it to be them.
I would love it to be you guys.
I'd love it. Yeah, you'd love it if it was us, would you?
No, but I swear.
Anton Keegan over here. You know what I mean?
No, but what it is, I'm just saying that he's not known for doing another rebuild.
Well, he hasn't done it yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the question mark, isn't it?
Well, there's a lot of untried questions. There's questions to answer for both. I mean, Arteta must have learned a lot this year.
Yeah.
100%.
The amount of games he played Saka in Europe, I'd have written that off and not played him in any.
Yeah.
They went out in the end anyway. You know, there's no wonder there's been a drop-off near the end with some of the players.
Especially Saka, actually.
But you could say Saka wasn't the same after he missed a penalty at West Ham. Another psychological thing. This is what I'm saying. I think when you look at all the
West Ham would get in it somehow.
No, but
well, they're coming after this as well.
Of course, but
what about the handball at the weekend? That was the most ridiculous decision I've ever seen. Did you see that one?
Swings and roundabouts.
Awful.
Murph. Swings and roundabouts. Because we should have had a few.
Liverpool. No, you should have. No, the goal. I'm saying that. What a bad decision.
Oh yeah, okay, the one for us.
Yeah, he could have got you back in the game.
Yeah, but
give you.
Happens.
All right, just quickly an answer then. Which manager gets the most out of their 4 fledglings?
I think you'll see a bigger improvement in Liverpool's than you will in Arteta's. Not because Arteta isn't a good coach, but because Liverpool's have got more room to improve. Yep. Some of Arsenal's forwards, although they're young, they're already at a high place.
For sure. It's going to be an interesting season for both managers next year.
Definitely.
If they're both still there.
Let us know who you would prefer to have. Would you prefer to have Arsenal's youngsters, or would you prefer to have that front three of Liverpool's youngsters?
Mix.
Yeah, and or you could just be like Danny and like shirk the question and say, I want both. You know,
I did answer in the end.
You did, to be fair, you did. You're not out of the woods. We are going to bring West Ham into this as well, and Arsenal. Obviously, on the Monday show, Stephen Howson, Joel, and Rio were talking to Robbie at AFTV after Arsenal have finished their title charge. And it came about where Rio is saying that, and a lot of Man United fans are saying, that Manchester United will have a better season, or would have had a better season than Arsenal, because they have not won anything and come second, whereas Manchester United would have hopefully got the top 4 and won the Carabao Cup. Right. Also with a chance to win the FA Cup. But leave the FA Cup. What Rio is saying is just with the Carabao Cup alone and the Champions League, as a player, I've been to Wembley, I've got a medal, that's what people remember. It doesn't matter if it's a Carabao Cup. That is better than finishing second with nothing. And also, he spoke to you, Anton, and said, are you also trying to say that West Ham then could maybe have a better season than Arsenal if they win the Conference League? And Robbie's response was, absolutely not, because they've been battling relegation all year. It doesn't matter that they've won a cup. Whereas Anton, I think last week, was saying even we could maybe have a better season than them.
I was saying it more towards Man United than Arsenal.
So the West Ham one.
No,
is there a way where you can have a better season than Arsenal? What would Declan Rice prefer? He finished 13th, just 13th, or he maintained Premier League status. I know you don't want to be fighting down there, but he did, and he won West Ham the Conference League.
I think winning the European trophy trumps anything that anyone else is doing. Because except for Man City, I think, because it's a European trophy. Right there.
But what I
will say, on the basis of what Rio's saying about the Carabao Cup and finishing in the top 4,
versus second,
if Manchester United don't finish in the top 4, win the Carabao Cup, don't win the FA Cup,
it's just Carabao
Cup and Europa League. If West Ham win the Conference League and finish above the relegation battle, who's had a better season? That's my question.
Well, he
just based on what he's saying.
So
no, that's
he's just made a new question. I don't know.
Let's give some answers.
There's a lot of things that need to happen first. There's a lot of things that need to happen
So
first.
this is the question side, Danny.
So
You're going to be the answer side because I didn't get an answer from you.
Right. So where Rio's come from, I hear it to a point because when I look back, so I remember the year we won the League Cup, for example, against United at Millennium, and we finished. I think we finished fifth, maybe. Not a good season.
Yeah.
And
how did you feel as a player?
Well, it was an amazing. It's still something I remember. It's still something I look back on with pride. Same with when we won the FA Cup. We didn't win the league, but you still feel like we did get in the Champions League. We did finish in Champions League, but that's the memory. That's the feeling now. They're the great days when you lift the trophy and you've had success. Every one you look back on. I don't look back on the seasons where we finished fourth or third and we didn't win a trophy.
Or second. I'm not saying you did, but
we did finish second,
and
I did feel pride at that. But when you look, if you take away those feelings for a second, what club would you rather be at the moment out of United, Arsenal, and West Ham? I think you'd want to be at Arsenal because they're further ahead. Sorry, let me rephrase that. If Arsenal and United are going for the same player today, I think if you, based on football, not money or location, you'd be thinking Arsenal are ahead of United.
Yeah,
Arsenal are ahead of United.
Actually, we could. If I go to Arsenal, I could compete for the league next year, which is a really good place to be. And you can be proud of the season, but I'm telling you, in 10 years, you won't remember finishing second. But if you won the FA Cup and League Cup, for example, if United did that. Those two trophy wins that day at Wembley where you beat Man City. The League Cup a bit less because the only team you're beating that was Newcastle.
Newcastle, yeah.
Ridiculous how easy the draw was. In fact, your FA Cup draw has been pretty.
All right, Dan.
Well,
we beat Brighton and Arsenal couldn't beat them.
No, I'm going to actually give you the other thing on that. Even the lucky FA Cup or League Cup draw becomes irrelevant because I'm telling you now,
I remember it.
I can't remember how easy our draw. I just remember winning the final.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Rio's got some substance in what he's saying, but actually, have they more? Will have United have had a more successful season than Arsenal? Yes. Is it a better season? No.
It's more successful.
I think he's not
success based on trophies.
Yes, right. That's what he's saying.
In terms of development in the team,
development in the team, pleasing the supporters.
And I think he would actually say that.
Yeah,
I think he'd actually say that.
But then it does. This is where it does come down to where your club is at, though, because for Eric Ten Hag and where Man United are coming from, where they're not 3 years into their manager like Arsenal are. First season to get top four, considering no one even had Man United in the top four, or a lot of people didn't.
No,
anyway.
it's been
I didn't even do that as a Man United fan.
Season.
So you would say as a Man United fan that's great, but then if you're Arsenal, a Carabao Cup doesn't really do anything for Arteta. He's already won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So actually showing that he had some minerals and Arsenal had some minerals to, I'm not going to say go to Tove City because they didn't to the end, but they did for a large part of the season. To do that for Arsenal fans makes them feel better because they've got belief that they can do it again now. But my pushback to that, and I think I've said it on one of the other shows, is the same way how Arsenal went from fifth to challenging, that means then that Man United could go from third to challenging.
Let's have it right, though.
So really, you could argue our building blocks better because Arsenal went eighth, fifth.
Yeah, but the building block doesn't come from winning the League Cup.
But let's have it right. Let's have it right, though.
That's true.
Let's have it right. This season for Arsenal has only been a good season in terms of on the eye and how they're playing, how they're progressing, if they continue.
You're correct.
So if next year they don't finish in the top four, this season's been terrible. This season,
it's been for nothing.
Who cares about it? Sorry, who cares about this season?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so to finish off, give me your closing statement on the criteria for the better season or not better season.
I'm just basing it off of what, and there's a lot that needs to happen, by the way.
Right. So
I feel like this is premature.
Will Man United, if they get in the top four and Carabao Cup, is that a better season than Arsenal's? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Right. So you're saying yes.
Yes.
West Ham, just to because you're here.
Yeah.
If West Ham win the Conference League.
Yes.
And stay, they're pretty much safe. So if West Ham win the Conference League and retain Premier League survival status, would they have had a better season than Arsenal?
In terms of trophies and what we're talking about, you remember when you win stuff.
For a West Ham player,
for 100%.
Every West Ham player would say,
100%. And for us as fans, it'll be unbelievable and all.
It's a memory of a life.
100%, and it's a European trophy.
Well, and that's where it's hard because you look at
But
where the
what I'm
teams are.
saying
Because
is-
if you ask the West Ham fan versus an Arsenal fan might feel quite dejected this season because we could have done it. We got close, but we messed it up.
Yeah, I've
West
got a
Ham
random
fans-
one actually because we've talked about
Go
that. And here's a random question, quick answer. Someone come up with it. I heard it yesterday on two different people talking about these playoffs and all that. Yeah, if the Premier League next season had first, second, third getting the Champions League, I know it's not going to happen, but just bear with me. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th playoffs.
4th, 5th,
4th
6th,
plays 7th, 5th
7th,
plays
yeah.
6th.
Yeah.
Final at Wembley for the Champions
That'd
League.
be
spot.
unbelievable. That would be unbelievable.
So
You
there's
know
no
why?
more
Now
top
it'd be
four.
United,
Yeah.
New Tottenham, Brighton, Liverpool.
That would be
Home and
unbelievable.
away. Fine, Liverpool United at Wembley for Champions
Yeah,
League.
Danny,
spot.
this
That
is cute,
would-
but
no,
you're
next week.
This is
That would
cute.
be
You're
unbelievable.
just trying to because Liverpool are against the odds.
but that would be
You're just
unbelievable,
thinking.
though.
I tell you what, at Wembley we could do one of the. You blew it.
It's
yeah?
like
but that would be mad.
I know,
that
it's
would be
I
mad.
know it's a different level, but in the Scottish Premier League, you see if you're in the bottom, if you're like if you finish bottom or just above, if you finish just above bottom, you got to play a playoff with whoever finishes second.
Division below.
Division
So
below.
that they can
And
come
whoever-
up and take
yeah.
your spot.
The only problem is I don't
it's
think
unbelievable. It's an unbelievable.
this
game.
is great for next week, but we'll do this. But
Yeah.
the problem is in the Prem because the Prem is so far ahead of the champ. I don't think if you get say it was Everton playing.
Yeah, Norwich. Oh no, Norwich. No, who
No, but
finishes
you know-
5th?
yeah.
Well, Luton
Come
or
on,
Sunderland.
come on.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
using
The
that as
gap's
a,
too big.
I'm just using that as an example
No.
of
Well, if
how big,
Southampton
how
have to
big,
play
but
against
I'm on
how
bloody
about-
big the
someone.
game is. How big the game is. I'm saying that would be unbelievable for somebody who's got to get into the Champions League spot. That would be
Yeah, because the
unbelievable.
quality's better.
But also, you could also have. So the winners play for the Champions League spot. Obviously, loser gets Europa League. But the losers of the two semis play in another one
For Europa.
for Europa.
And what? Can someone get conference as well? Can the losers of that?
No one cares about that.
They do.
Yes, they do. Yes, we do. It's a trophy at the
Actually,
end of the day.
since you brought up that, this is just off the top of my head as well. Would there be a day where you would ever want to see like an NBA type thing where to win the league you have to have a best of series?
No,
Just
one off
simple as
game.
it's 38 games. Whoever comes top comes top. You
Yeah.
could never.
Yeah, no.
You wouldn't be behind anything like that.
No,
Too much. It's
no chance.
that the reward is for the 38 games, isn't it? To win.
Yeah.
But it's mad in basketball because look how many games they actually play in a regular season.
No, of course.
Then they go Western Eastern Conference semis.
Sure.
and stuff. Then to actually win. The reason why I do like it is because it's like the 1 and 2 are saying it's not just a one-off game. It's not a final. It's a one-off game. You have to beat me 4 times.
Why don't you go and watch
But
that instead
nah.
of having to watch United? every week?
But I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't.
I think having
change it.
like even in cup finals and that one-off games is.
Yeah, that's what makes the beauty of football
Yeah.
because that's when anyone can beat
That-
anyone. It
that
doesn't
would
matter about form, how good someone else
You don't
has
want to be
been.
in a final and go. I was rubbish today, but
Don't matter.
the next time we play them in a couple of days,
No.
I would have sussed them.
Yeah.
And you don't. It's one off, bang. You
Yeah.
either turn up or you don't.
Man, you Liverpool at Wembley for Champions League place. Go on.
That would be
He really
unbelievable.
wants. Mate, just accept you're gonna be playing Thursday nights, Dan. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Just accept it.
Nothing wrong with
It's a
it.
building
Nothing
block.
wrong with it.
You know,
man.
Klopp's gonna have some new
Nothing
players.
wrong with
It's
it.
gonna be a building block.
Nothing wrong
And if
with
you
it.
win the Conference League, you can get in it too. Tell you what, it could be
Right,
a
enough.
West Ham Liverpool final next year.
Enough.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Make
might-
sure you win it.
Oh, do you know
Now
what?
we'll
Are
be
you
right.
going to be in it?
Because if they lose to Villa,
Exactly.
Oh, what?
Are you going to be in it?
What?
Are you guaranteed
Europa League.
Champions League?
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yes.
Flex said he's guaranteed.
Yeah.
And he said David Silva's better than De Bruyne. Worst take of the day.
I didn't say that.
Some bad takes
I
today.
said De Bruyne can't lace his boots, is what I said.
Yeah, oh,
Oh my goodness.
Just before we finish off, really quickly, Mauricio Pochettino is looking like it's done. Deal going to Chelsea.
I like him. Top
Yeah,
guy.
I know
Yeah.
you spoke really highly of him.
I think he'll play on a front foot.
Yeah,
I think he likes discipline, which they need. I think he's a good coach. They've got a lot of young players. He likes improving players. That was the main thing at Tottenham. Everyone improved under him, really.
Yeah.
So is he the man to take him to Champions League and Premier League? He hasn't done it before, so it's a risk.
can he win the big prizes
I
with
think
Chelsea?
first and foremost, improving them to a point where they're back in the Champions
Yeah.
League
Yeah,
and
competing.
competing.
Consolidate the
Yeah.
club.
What
and the
about
playing
taking
staff.
players out, the ones to sell versus the ones he can work with? Who do you look at in that squad and go, That's perfect for Poch. Right profile, can get a tune out of him. Probably not him. Who's the standout names you're looking at?
I think as long as you go there with an attitude that you're willing to work for him as a manager, everyone's got an opportunity to stay there.
Okay, it's going to be interesting. I think.
Looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, Spurs fans are going to be absolutely. Imagine if Pochettino goes there and wins a major, just wins anything. Actually,
imagine.
Chelsea have been a cup team.
Spurs
Chelsea been a good cup team for a long time.
Exactly.
Imagine
you wouldn't put it past them.
Imagine if because Pochettino's gone to Chelsea, your visions of Kane coming to United are no longer there.
No, he can't go Chelsea.
Just
Tottenham fans be around.
I'm just asking a question. How would you feel?
No, because they're also not in the Champions. No,
but how would you feel?
Get Osman, so don't worry about it.
Would we? It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. We need one of them. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know how you feel the takes on this show have gone. Obviously, the boys getting on to me for not rating De Bruyne as much as everyone does. You know, I don't want to swear. You know, he's the best thing since sliced bread. Old De Bruyne, you know, brilliant, does everything. Yeah, he's the best. That's the feeling.
I can't even take him serious. The take was so. I can't even take him serious.
De Bruyne's good. He's good. He's good.
The sarcasm in your voice is unbelievable.
He's good. What do you want me to do? Wax more lyrical? You lot have done it. You've said how good he is.
You've said your piece. Come on.
Yeah, he's good. You know. So smash a like on the video, and we'll be back again for another episode of The Take On. Same time, same place next week. Take care, guys. Peace.